everybody. Welcome to a special presentation here on Make Your Own Fun. I guess I'm going to be calling this favorite funny fourths. And I'm here with the man of the hour, Gary Sarell. And you guys know him as Scardouche. He's been on the show plenty of times as the character, but this time you're seeing him as Gary Sarell, which is awesome. And yeah, we're just
Who's
gonna
that?
dive into it, man. Thank you so much. You got your drink handy, you're cooling off.
Oh yeah, it's a hot one, huh?
Yeah. What is it out there in Ohio?
It's about 80.
Whew,
It's probably a
sweating.
little over 80.
I'm under the hot
Yeah.
lights. I'm under the hot lights. Look at this thing.
I got one too here. Ooh.
Yeah. Woo! All right. Well, I couldn't afford to go out and get any beer, so I'm stuck with iced tea. So let's just jump into it here. Let's jump into some of our favorite crazy Fourth of July stories. This is going to go up, in the morning of the fourth, so hopefully people aren't trashed yet when they watch this. All right, so I will start with.
Starting early.
I'll start it off with this one from Inglewood. Never-ending source of crazy stories, right? So God, this is about 7 or 8 years ago. It was Fourth of July weekend. Oh shit, what happened? Where did I go?
Oh, what happened?
I'll bring it
Look at
back.
that. Who's
Yeah,
that
I'm
guy?
here.
Who's that guy? Yeah, there's the king.
They just wanted to see that picture of me when I looked like it was in a Duran Duran cover band. All right. So yeah, I was at Inglewood and yeah, I remember waking up in the middle of the night, fireworks are going off or whatever. And I hear these two guys arguing outside my place a little bit further down, like on the sidewalk. And I heard like, and I was just, I had the windows open. It was a hot night, and I just heard like, "Who is that motherfucker?" And then somebody was like, "Yeah, well, who's that motherfucker?" And I was like, "All right, there's some motherfuckers arguing apparently." And so I walk around the corner, and all of a sudden, like, I see this flashlight go off, and he was like, "Is like, is that trash can Terry?" And the guy's like, "Well, well, well, if it isn't Lasso Dick Lewis." Like, what the fuck is happening in my neighborhood?
Wow.
So apparently these were two like homeless guys. They knew each other. They had flashlights, and they were like, "Well, I just stole this from the corner market." And he's like, "Well, I just stole this from down the street." And so they had like one guy had like a can of a couple of 40-ounce cans, and the other guy had like a 6 pack, and they just went into the shrubs not far from my place, cracked them open, and we're drinking them. And then they were like, what's is when you throw these in the street, people don't see them coming, and they just wreck their cars because it's fucking crazy. And the other guy's like, well, because we're the crazy ones. So they were drinking them, and they were just taking them and throwing them half full into the street. And you're like, oh my fucking god, oh Jesus Christ! And then you hear somebody be like, yeah, yeah, well that's how we drive over here in the Inglewood, motherfucker. And I'm just laying in my bed, like pulling my sheet like over me, like just this night to end. And then shit just kept going on, and I had fireworks going off and dogs freaking out and people losing their shit. So eventually I just went out and I had beer with me, and I walked out to where they were, and they were like, "Who are you? What's going on over there?" And I was just like, "Oh, I'm just the only white guy living over there on Inglewood Avenue." And the guy was like, "Right on." So I just sat like 10 feet away from him and kind of drank for like half an hour. And I was just like, "You guys okay if I sit here and just have one too?" And they were like, "Still a free country, motherfucker." So I did that, and they were kind of really quiet, and I was like, all right, I kind of freaked them out. So then I finished my beer, and I went back inside and closed the door and turned the light off, and they were like, "Man, that's crazy, man. They just let anybody in this neighborhood, man. This is fucking crazy." I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting made fun of by a guy named Lasso Dick Lewis. I have arrived. I have officially arrived. All right, so that's my first one. All right, all right. What do you got, Sarell?
Oh, that's classic. You got the best stories.
Well, it's like I can't, dude. The shit just happened. I mean, Inglewood was just, I don't know, it was just crazy.
I got one. So most of my stories are where I do something stupid. All right, so I was with my cousin. We must have been about 13, 14 years old, And it's the 4th of July. We wanted to light some fireworks off, but we should have thought about it because we were living in this really tight knit neighborhood, houses so close to each other. We probably shouldn't have been doing this, but we went and we lit off a mortar, one of those ones that do the fountain, Oh my god! And then of course the cops come.
Oh my God.
We're hiding in the basement, and they never found us. Of course, they never know which house it was from. It was just one thing, but it went up, and of course it was loud and bright, and probably shouldn't do it with a cop going by, I guess. But uh, yeah, just me doing something stupid. That's basically my stories.
Oh, I love those stories though. They're the best, man. Tell everybody that one about the bean dip. The bean dip story is pretty classic. I think you were pretty freaking drunk at the time. I think I was there, and I was there. So set it up.
I don't know about the bean dip.
I don't know the bean
Just
dip story. You can't. Man, the bean dip story is so classic. I don't want to build it up too much, but
yeah.
it is pretty classic. I don't know. You should tell the folks. I think they kind of like to hear it.
There was the one story about the bean dip. I don't even remember what I was supposed to say about the bean dip. It was just
I remember you went to
um,
the store, and that's all I remember.
went to the store and got bean dip and uh, you don't want to end up wearing it, when you're done, but
As I recall, I don't remember. There was some alcohol involved, and we were low on bean dip, and you shuffled down to the nearest store there in Ashtabula and came back, and we were like, Gary, what took so long? And you were like, I was hungry. And so you ate like half of it was on your face. And Amy was so pissed. And then she still ate it because she had a bunch of chips in her hand. Like, it's just classic. I know people don't know you that well, but that's just a classic Gary story. I mean, all of these stories are usually enhanced because, like, I shouldn't have been drinking that much, or I should have known better, or I shouldn't have fucking jumped off the roof, or I shouldn't have tried to drive the car backwards, or shouldn't have punched that mailman. He wasn't even on duty.
yeah, yeah.
All right. I got another one. All right, another crazy Fourth of July story. I was living in Georgia, and I was at work. I think it was the Fourth of July weekend, and there were a couple of guys that I worked with that let's just say they took it upon themselves to celebrate at work because it was a third shift, like overnight job, and we were unloading like supply trucks, like containers for Macy's and stuff. And I remember like guy came in, and the other guy was just like, Jason, man, where's your fucking pants? Which is always a great way to have somebody yell something when they walk into the room. And the guy was like, I don't have no fucking pants, man. It's 4th of July. We were like, dude, you're at work. You got to wear pants, dude. You're wearing tidy whities, man. And it's nice that you wrote Go USA on the back of your fucking tidy whities. But he was just like, I don't need no fucking pants. And we were like, come on, man, you got to get some pants on. And then like the supervisor came around the corner. He was like, oh shit, I can't unsee that, man. And he's just like, well, I just want to celebrate America, and I just wanted to work too because I won't call off. And then, of course, 30 seconds later, after everybody's like, yeah, man, red, white, and blue, you got it, man. Let's play some Johnny Cash. God bless America. And he's like, yeah, I just wanted to say to you guys. And then two people step forward to hear closer, and he just fucking immediately coated them with puke. He's like, I just want to say to you guys, just like, oh, for the three guys standing there, and I was there, and I was just like, but I got like around the corner, and the guy's like, Lawson, did you give this guy like a bunch of liquor? And I was like, no, maybe. Because I've given him like a little bit, I don't remember, it was like 151 or something. And the guy was like, Jason can't handle his liquor. I'm like, I do now. Like, get back to work. And so they just carried him over to a couch, and they just fucking let him sleep it off on the couch because the guy didn't want to send the manager didn't want to send everybody home or just a couple people to take him home, so he couldn't get the work done because it was like July 2nd or whatever, and they wanted to get everything done. So of course, like on everybody's breaks, they just took a turn with a Sharpie, writing like drawing cocks on him and like mermaids and unicorns and like cannons and all this stuff, and him just being on the couch like
paint his nails.
yeah, fucking everything you can imagine. So, all right, so that's
never happened to me.
Not yet. All right, that's my second one. So, all right, let's hear what you got, Sarell. You got to have something in the files and the memory banks there from back.
I had a lot of stupid firework stories. I had one go off in my hand one time. That hurt. Nice. You're lighting out those little black cats. And I just had a really short wick, of course. You're like, I'm gonna throw it, and then like next couple of hours, your fingers are numb. You can't feel them for like 3 days straight. I had one where there was this one guy. He would lit off a Roman candle and started pointing it at people. Not that was me or anything. Oh my God. It was me. I was a dumb kid. That was when I was a dumb kid.
Did you ever do anything when you were a kid or whatever where like you knew fireworks were gonna freak out somebody's dog? Because dogs always lose their shit when fireworks are going off. Did you ever do anything dumb or have any of your neighbors do anything dumb if you had a dog when you were a kid? Like just completely do something totally irresponsible and throw like firework in a trash can or on somebody's back patio so the dog would...
I used to try to blow up everything, like Folgers cans, coffee, or Coke cans,
start calling you TNT.
Yeah, we always used to try to do that, like string a bunch of bottle rockets together so they all go off at the same time.
I'm guessing you threw a cherry bomb in a toilet before.
I've never done that. I've never done. We used to, redneck engineer a lot of this stuff.
Redneck engineer. Yeah. He's not a janitor. He is a
50 black cats together, Yeah.
Oh man, did you ever get a ladder and climb up on the roof and throw fireworks off the roof?
No, I've never done that. No.
Never even got on like to like a friend's neighbor's shed or something. Like I did that stuff. It's just such a moronic thing to do. But when you're a kid, you just think like you're invincible,
I'm afraid of roofs now, but there was a time when we got up on my roof of my mom's house, and I don't know, for some reason we wanted to Butch Cassidy, jump off the roof onto this camper, like, oh my God. Oh, I did so many stupid things. I don't know. Whenever I talk about it, it makes me feel like, what the hell was I thinking growing up?
It's one of those things where I guess they say like you got to get it out of your system, but I don't know. Some people just don't. There's always some jackass that's like holding two sparklers, riding a motorcycle off of like a jump into a ravine, and they were like, "But there's no net and there's no river," and he was like, ah. "Look at the sparklers! Happy birthday, America!"
Yeah, before YouTube too. So it's like, well, if we did it nowadays, it'd probably be on YouTube, doing something stupid like that.
Crazy, like Evel Knievel shit that we used to watch when we were a kid, and we were like, "Oh, I could do that."
Oh yeah. Now I'm afraid to get on the roof.
Oh man, did you ever like either yourself or like anybody else get like really drunk at like a party or get together and do something crazy like 4th of July? Because those are going to be like the classic ones. Usually, whenever there's alcohol and stupidity and people being like I can totally do that. Like, you guys are just wussies, man. Like, just stand back.
Okay. Yeah, of course. I got the nickname Gary the Good Time Guy.
Oh fuck yeah! I remember.
There was one party, and I drank way too much.
Was this before?
I'm walking up and down the road with a bottle of peach schnapps in my pocket. It's just asking everybody if they had a drink, if they're having a good time.
Yeah, that's classic.
That's how I got my nickname.
You got some serious Teen Wolf action going on with that. Was that before or after Kent State?
Oh, that was before. That was back in high school. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
some pretty crazy Kent State shenanigans too. I remember, that was some pretty crazy times. I remember pretty crazy times closing down the Blimpie and pretty crazy times running around at the Kiva, Kent State, and running around campus. I mean, I don't remember if you were there. I remember I don't know if I went streaking, but I think I went around with like a bottle of something. I don't remember who I was with. Uh,
Uh,
yeah, I was with a bunch of people, and I just remember like just going crazy and jumping up, running around on the statues and running around in the courtyards and stuff. And I remember the whole time, I remember somebody was like, Lawson, you're so trash. You got to throw the TP in the tree. You got to throw it on the statue. And I was like, I think I got to take a shit though. I don't want to throw it away because then I'm naked and I got to go to the bathroom.
yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
God.
You
Was
don't
there
want to
any
waste the
time like you
TP.
were like at a bar or anything around like Ashtabula and you guys were like really drunk and you were doing something crazy like like you were so drunk that obviously you couldn't drive and so were you like walking somewhere to like either another bar or restaurant or someplace like a restaurant to sober up or something and then anything crazy happened? Because I had a lot of that shit happen when I lived in Kent for sure.
Oh yeah, I remember we did stuff like that in Kent too. We had to walk around for a while, sober up. Yeah.
I remember waking up in the shrubs a couple of times. Those were
Uh,
I hope those days are behind me. That was a long time ago. There was an evil Eric and my twin, and I had to kill him.
yeah.
Um, shit. I remember there was this one time when I was living in Monrovia over here by Pasadena. When I first moved to California, and I don't. It wasn't my building. I think it was the building next door. Somebody was having a party, and some guy, I don't know, he was dressed like a black belt karate guy. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. And maybe it was a costume party. Maybe it was just a fucking dojo. I don't know. But some guy got totally shit faced at some 4th of July cookout, drinking fest, whatever. And the dude climbed up and he's like, I gotta get away from this guy. I owe him money. And we were just like, and then me and my roommate were like, what the fuck is going on out there? And they're like, dude, he's passed out on our fence. Like, what? No, he passed out on the fence. I'm like, what? So we went outside and the guy was just like literally bent over on the fence like this. And he was like in his kimono or whatever he was wearing, his gi. And like he had a beer in his hand and he was like, and we were trying to like take it away from him to stand him up. And he was just like, he's like, no, man, like the man is coming for me, and I want to have my beer. And we were like, those things don't mix. What are you talking about? And he was like, oh, I owe that motherfucker back at the party some money. And we were like, all right, well, do you want to just like come and hide out in our backyard or whatever? And he was like, no, man, I gotta go all the way. I gotta go all the way to like 18th Street. We're like, all right, well, you're on 17th Street, man. You almost made it. You need help? And we were like, we helped him up and we stood him up and we got him around and he like we like walked him to the curb and he walked around the corner and he was like, oh man, but I'm at 18th Street in Pasadena. Where the fuck am I? And we were like, and just like walked away because I was like, I don't want to have the guy come in the apartment. I don't know him. We got other roommates there. I don't know what he's gonna do. And I was like, I don't have enough money back in the day to call him like an Uber or something. And I'm like, we were like, bus stop's 2 blocks to the right. He was like, and I felt bad. I felt really bad about that. Like I should have helped him more, but like, dude, you're in the wrong fucking city. Like we thought we were so helpful at first. Like, oh, you're on 17th Street. You're almost to 18th Street. And he looks around. He goes, man, this isn't Pasadena. We were like, like, oh shit. All right, let me hear another one. You got another one? You got to have some more of these things.
I don't know. As one time I was going home. I think I got off work late. Uh, I was heading home in my car, and I noticed this other car seemed to be following me. So, like, what's going on here? I'm trying to take different different turns and see this guy still following me the whole way home. But I get home, I get in my driveway. He comes out and he's like, "Hey, don't I know you from the bar?"
Hmm.
I'm like, no, no." uh, I was like, "Oh no, that's not me. It must. I just got off work. You must be thinking you must have followed the wrong guy home." Uh, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was afraid to let him go. I didn't know what I should do. Should I call the police on him or something? They grabbed DUI or something. I don't know. I wasn't sure what to do there, but hopefully he made it home all right. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a pretty good one, man. That's pretty crazy. There was a time, this was a really fucking scary one. I'm trying to remember where I was at when this happened. Um, uh, I want to say I was on tour with the Deaf Children's Theater Group.
Oh
True
yeah.
story. Oh God, yeah. Wait for that.
Uh,
Can't wait for that book to come out, can you? So yeah, God, I think this was a Fourth of July thing. My memory's a little selectively fuzzy. Um, but I remember, God, we were at some get together or got invited to something, and then I got went to something else, and then something else. The next thing I know, it was like 3 in the morning, and I was like half awake, and somebody's like lawn chair, like half passed out with like a beer in my hand or whatever. And I remember some fucking tank looking dude comes up and grabs my shirt and he goes, "Are you Jason?" And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Oh, well, I'm looking for Jason. I'm here to kick his ass." I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "Would I tell you I was Jason if you're telling me you're gonna here to kick my ass? Like, the fuck?" So I'm like, "No, man." I'm like, "No, man, get off me. Like, what the fuck? I don't know you. I don't I'm not even from the state. I don't live here." I think this was in like God, where was like St. Louis or something like that. Anyway, so the guy he like, "All right, well, he was macking with my girlfriend, and then but he was stupid enough, and he she like dropped his license, and she was gonna make a photocopy because she was gonna pull a prank on him too." And I was like, "What the fuck is going on at this party?" But it wasn't the party I was at; it was the one before. So I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" And so he's like, "I got a photocopy, but we were fighting and she ripped half of it. So I'm looking for Jason Lawson. And if I find him, I'm going to fucking beat his ass." And I was like, "Oh, man, well, my name's Eric." So I took, and I was like, "Oh, fuck." And then I was like, "All right." He was like, "Well, prove it to me." And I was like, "Well, I can write it." And he was like, "Show me your license." I'm like, "I don't have my license." I'm like, and then I was thinking real fast because I was starting to like really sober up in a hurry. And I was like, because I don't drive, man." And he goes, "Oh, all right, man." And then so he walked away, and then one of the people on the tour or whatever with me comes over, and she goes, "You almost got your ass beat, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I told you not to make out with that girl at the other party. Like she was really drunk, and she just came in and like hit on you, but like she was really drunk." And I was like, "Okay, okay." And she's like, "Oh, and you're looking for this, I'm sure." And I was like, "What?" And she handed me my license, and I was like, "Cool." She's like, "Put that in your wallet and like, let's get out of here." And then the dude was looking around and I saw over his shoulder. So where she had like ripped the page, the photocopy or whatever of my license, it cut off right before my first name. So it just said, because my middle name's Jason. So I was just like, let's get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, yeah, the
Like,
middle
"All right,
name, the
everybody,
last name.
that's a wrap. We're out. Peace
Uh,
out. Time to fucking peace out." So that whole time, the dude had my shirt. I was just like, "Oh, this is not gonna fucking end well." Because I'm like, he's gonna put it together, but I was like, I'm just gonna say some random stupid shit. And I guess he'd been drinking too, so he was like, "Oh, you don't drive? Oh, your name's Eric. Oh, that sounds good. All right, man. Whatever, man. I'm just whatever. I'm just pissed. If I find her, maybe I'll beat it out of her." I'm like, "Oh, Jesus, man. What the fuck kind of relationship is that?" All right, hit me with another one. Hit me with another one. I'm gonna hit another pretzel here.
I don't know. I don't know if I got another one. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I can't think of another one, huh? Maybe the bean dip is coming back. I don't know. Uh, yeah.
All right, you don't have any more Kent State ones or Ashtabula? You got some, gotta have some Ashtabula ones because I mean you are Gary the Good Time guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking about a motorcycle, and there's a motorcycle involved, and you're holding beers in your hand and a bottle of peach schnapps. I want to hear that story.
Oh, and the sparklers, huh?
Oh, I mean, didn't you guys have like some kind of music festival that you did?
Let's talk about that. That's not really 4th of July, but
Oh, well,
yeah, yeah,
you could have transposed, and none of us would have ever known.
yeah. Well, yeah, I guess. Well, we tried to throw a music festival for my friend Jason Gibbs, and we called it Gibbstock. And it was going
That's
to
the
be
one guy.
Gibbstock '94. That's how old I am. We tried to we were gonna have some bands play from our local bands from our school, and I borrowed a generator from my uncle, and we got this like barren piece of land, that it's basically like a pit, where people would
Everybody into the
ride
pit.
their motorcycles, people would ride their dirt bikes, it's like
Yeah,
that kind of thing, a bunch of dirt hills, and but we set up lights and everything, and of course, the cops came, and
of course.
busted us before we even started. Basically, I guess you shouldn't pass around flyers and announce that you're going to be somewhere when you don't have permission to be there. Huh?
Oh, you guys didn't
Uh,
have a permit. Yeah.
yeah, I guess yeah. That was before Wayne's World, so I couldn't watch that as a template, huh?
Well, I mean, I
uh,
know you and I both survived Woodstock '99, so that was a trip.
oh yeah.
I mean, people that say like, "Why did you stay and why did you do all that or whatever?" And I'm like, "We didn't know. We just were gonna go see all these bands." And before it got really
Yeah.
shitty, we went home.
Oh yeah.
All of us had to like work that Monday or Tuesday, so we took off. We didn't see a lot of the horrible Lord of the Flies, everything on fire shit. We were like long gone. I'm pretty sure. I mean,
Yeah.
we bitched about the $4 water and about everything having blacktop and pavement and not a
It's
lot
all
of
good.
trees and cover. I mean, it was a dumb idea to have a music festival at an Air Force base.
Oh yeah.
So I still had a good time, and I feel
Oh,
really
me
bad
too.
for everybody that suffered and had a really shitty third day. But I think we left like halfway through the day, or like 3 or 4
Yeah.
in the
I
afternoon.
think it was like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. I think we left.
Yeah, we were on the road already,
Yeah.
but then we didn't get to see the Chili Peppers or Megadeth or any of the other
Yeah.
ones. So anyway,
Mhm.
well, if you want, we can wrap it up. And I'll wrap it up with the classic chasing the parked car story.
Oh, okay. Got another one. Huh?
No, all right.
You got all the good ones, huh?
I don't know about good ones. I don't know if they're like stories to be proud of. It's more like just laugh at me being a jackass. I mean, I'm the one wearing the Burger King crown anyway, right?
Yeah.
Take a drink here real quick. So this was oh, probably first time I lived in California, and I lived in like I was saying, like 2006, 2007. I was living in Monrovia. One of my part-time jobs was at a Target, and I was working overnights, and it was 4th of July holiday weekend, and one of our coworkers came in and was just like, "Man, fuck this shit. We got all our work done. We're just gonna go out to the parking lot and get shit faced because fuck this job and fuck this." And I'm like, "Aren't there cameras?" "Oh yeah, we're not idiots, Lawson. We're gonna go out to the parking lot. Duh." I'm like, "Okay." I don't know why I was the voice of reason in that fucking situation, but it went downhill from there. Let's just say that. So we were doing the thing where we were pushing each other around in the grocery carts and slamming into the light poles and being like, "Oh, you're a wuss, man. Get up and walk it off." "I hit my face on the pole." "Yeah, well, should have got a helmet." "There are no helmets." "Oh, whatever, pussy." So there was a lot of alcohol being passed back and forth, and so we thought we were gonna prank our coworkers, and we were gonna give people a ride home, and we were in the car, like I was in the passenger seat, and then there's somebody driving, and there's two people in the back, and we were like, all right, let's go, man. And the guy was just like, all right, man, let's go. And I was just like, all right. And I just kind of put my head back, and they had the radio on. We were like, yeah, I love this song. This is the best. Like, yeah, this night didn't turn out to be that bad. And I remember my one coworker saying, like, are we leaving? Because it's not that late and we didn't like clock out. And I was like, it's fine. It's fine. They understand. If they don't understand, okay, whatever. So we're in this car, right? And all of a sudden we were just like, oh man, look at all these fucking cans and bottles in here. We're gonna get pulled over. And then all of a sudden, we heard like woo, woo, woo. And we saw the blue and white lights, and we were like, oh, we're fucked, man. We're so fucked. And then like we were like, we had the light in our face on both sides, like flashlights coming up, like, oh god, we're fucked, we're fucked. And then that we were like, then we heard like the on the window, and I was like, oh shit. And I was just like, oh, looking for anything to shove in my mouth, like some kind of chips or something. And then we rolled the windows down, and the guy's like, boy, you guys almost had us there for a minute. And we were like, like, you guys know you've been in this parked car for 3 hours, right? We were like, what? Yeah, so there's a bunch of cans around here, and we're gonna let you guys off with a warning, and you guys got somebody to take you home? And we were like, yeah, yeah, all right, you guys, happy 4th of July, and have a good one. We're like, all right. So the cops left, and we were like, oh shit. And then we got outside of the car. We had never left the parking lot. We were just partying inside the car with radio blasting, with smoke coming out from whatever we were smoking. And then we had beer cans, and we were just like, look, just throwing them out of the car. We were like, yeah. We were so fucking out of it. We never left the parking lot, and we all passed out. And so we were like, oh, we saw the flashlights. We're like, oh, fuck, man. Oh, pull over. Oh, I already am pulled over. Oh, that's good. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. And then we were like, you guys know you've been in this parked car for over 3.5 hours, right? We were like, oh yeah, that's one of those. Don't try that at home, kids. In fact, don't ever try it. Just don't. So if you got one, you can do one, or we can wrap it up there. That's a pretty classic.
I was thinking about it made me think of one that happened. We went down to Lakeshore Park one night. It was late. I think it was me, my wife, well, my future wife. I don't think we were married at the time, and I had a couple friends with me, and we Lakeshore Park. You kind of go down there, you got nothing better to do, you want to go look at the lake.
Say that on the fucking
dark,
sign, Lakeshore Park, when you've got nothing better to do.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I live in a small town, and nothing goes on after like 10, So we went down there. It was late though. It was probably like after midnight, after 1 o'clock, something like that. And we went down there to hang out, and I don't know. We were really into like reciting poetry, like Jim Morrison poetry, like.
Right on.
So we would go down there and be like, "I am the Lizard King. I can do anything," and like start reciting poetry, like and I used to do that. The movie will begin in 5 moments.
Oh, cool.
The mindless voice announced. We used to do stuff like that, and that's what we were doing one night. We were just hanging out by the car. My wife, I think, fell asleep in the car in the passenger seat. Cops come down, and they're checking us out. And they were like, "What have you guys been doing down here?" But just my friend says, we're saying poetry. I don't even think we had been drinking or anything. Maybe we came from the bar. I don't know. I don't think we had much in us, at the time. But yeah, my wife was asleep, and they're like, "What's wrong with her?"
She's listening.
She's sleeping, sir. And they're like pounding on her head with a flashlight.
Jesus Christ. What the
I
fuck?
woke her up. Yeah, you're like, "Are you all right, ma'am?" And I was like, "Oh, I was just sleeping." You know, my wife, she could sleep anywhere. She slept at the Rage Against the Machine concert
Oh
at
yeah.
Woodstock '99. You know,
And that is
uh,
hardcore. If you can sleep during a Rage Against the Machine set, I major props.
oh yeah,
Like
so
he's screaming, "Fuck you! I won't do what you tell me." And she's like, "Oh yeah."
we're reciting poetry after. And like, right,
Oh
he's
shit,
good.
that's good. You know, one of my favorite things to do is if people get so pissed off, and I don't ever do it to just piss people off, but if somebody's like really shit faced and they're like in your face and they're usually it's like a bunch of drunk frat boys or whatever, and they're just like, God bless America, 4th of July, and they're just throwing shit everywhere and being noisy and fucking, jerking their dicks off for pretend, and you're like, what the fuck, man? You guys like, what are you guys doing for 4th of July? I don't know, whatever. One time when I was where was I? I was over in Santa Monica and I was walking from my car and these dudes just kind of came out of nowhere. There's like six of them and something. And I was just like, 4th of July, it's St. Patrick's Day. And they're like, what, man? You don't fucking know, man. It's 4th of July, man. I'm like, no, it's St. Patrick's Day. It says right here. It's October 31st. And they're like, what? I'm like, it's St. Patrick's Day. It's October 31st. I'm about to go pick up the turkey. And the guy was just like, what, man? You're fucking high. I'm like, oh, I'm not high. I just landed the helicopter over there. I am okay to go. And the guy was just like, whatever, man. You're killing my buzz. And he like walked away. And the guy was like, it's fucking 4th of July. Yeah, you tell him, Randy. And the other guy's like, it is 4th of July. Oh, I'm pretty sure, man. All right, let's go back to the house and get some more beers. We gotta make sure. We gotta make sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably was getting close to getting punched in the face for that because I don't know when to say
yeah,
when it comes to being sarcastic sometimes. But
yeah. I remember when I had my first beer.
oh yeah, the classic.
That's
Shit.
all around. Yeah.
Oh fuck. All right, you got any more, or you want to wrap it up here?
No, I don't think I got any more. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll just end this by saying thanks for coming on the show, being your awesome Gary Sarell self, self,
All right.
shelf,
Yeah.
like an elf on a shelf, and say,
No.
uh, and just say, you know what, man, I know it's not cool, but like everybody watching this, just know when to say when. You have a phone, call an Uber, call a Lyft, I mean, car will still be there, people will understand. It is what it is. But all right. Well, thank you so much, Gary, for being awesome and sharing some funny, funny stories. And everybody out there, hope you had some good laughs at our expense. And with that, I say, all right, man, have a happy and awesome 4th of July. And I'll talk to you soon, man.
Okay. I'll talk to you later. Happy 4th of July.
You too, man. Say hi to everybody for me.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.